woke.
Woke.
Everything woke turns to okay?
All right, guys. So I wasn't going to cover this next one because this story's kind of been beaten to death, but it did kind of fit this week's kind of flow a little bit, going from what the media is trying to tell you and push on you and make you believe and everything to what Hollywood does to play a role in that, and pretty much how they're screwing themselves over and just making crap. So we're going to get into that real quick. But again, I don't know, The Quartering, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, all these guys have covered it. It's been everywhere on Twitter, but I'm going to try to have a different take on it so you're not hearing the same thing over and over again. So journey along with me, if you will. We're going to go ahead and start off in the world of Hollywood and Toto, which is Christian Toto and his team there. And I want to start off by saying this before I get into the article. Christian Toto and I follow each other on Twitter. I'm just now really getting involved in Twitter. And I got to say, I've heard exceptionally large podcasts or YouTubers, whatever you want to call them, reference Christian Toto, reference Hollywood and Toto, and for him to follow me back, and actually last week he shared one of the clips where I used one of his articles as well. Him and then Carly Mayberry, who was a well-established writer for like Newsmax, Newsweek, Forbes, Hollywood Reporter, Reuters, more. And you guys really shared a segment last week where I used Christian stuff from Hollywood and Toto. And guys, I really appreciate that. So to you guys, I thank you for that. Thank you for your support. Thank you for not coming after me for going through your article. I just really, really enjoy the way you address things and the way you approach things. And so guys, I want to encourage you to do this. Anytime I share an article, if you want to look into it more, the links will always be in the description below. And I don't want to read everything because I want you to go back and read it and check it out. I also want you to go support these guys. If I read everything, it's usually MSNBC or CNN or somebody's website that I don't really care about. But Christian Toto and team, these guys work awesomely to create great content consistently. They got a podcast up, or maybe a couple now. I was just watching one the other day. Was it today? I think it was today I was watching one. And but we'll get into this one. But again, a very heartfelt thank you to Christian and team. You guys are awesome. And for all you guys listening to this, go out and support these guys that are doing amazing work. So this one is about Jerry Seinfeld. It says Jerry Seinfeld blames, well, it is about Jerry Seinfeld. It isn't about Jerry Seinfeld. Keep that in mind. Jerry Seinfeld blames extreme left PC crap for comedy decline. Updated. So we got a little update on this one. Let's see. Jerry Seinfeld takes comedy seriously, very seriously. After his landmark NBC sitcom Seinfeld wrapped, he gathered the funniest people on the planet for his follow-up show, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. There's Christian, good guy. It says, and when the host of the New York radio hour asked him specific questions on his craft, Seinfeld demurred. It would take an hour just to properly answer that, he said. He didn't need an hour to lay into another target, one that has handicapped comedians for the past decade. Woke. Chris O'Brien says why mastery matters, why good sitcoms are so rare, and why Hacked Off Hugh is Jerry Seinfeld's favorite human. Fantastic interview there. And I don't know if this is the one being referenced here. Probably not the one referenced here. But there was that one video where it says, hey, I've noticed that most of the people on your show are white males. And Jerry Seinfeld goes, yeah, let's get into that. What do you see over here? A bunch of whiteys. And he says, not like taking the census. It's about being funny. And I'm not the absolute biggest fan of Jerry Seinfeld or any of the stuff that he's done. I know, crucify me all you want. But I appreciate someone who loves their craft and puts everything behind it and doesn't care about the crap and the baggage that other people try to project onto it. And they focus on what they do. Again, I am a filmmaker. My buddy and I, we make stuff that, some audience may look at and go, hey, there's some wokeness in there. No, we're just trying to tell a good story. If you happen to see like a female that's strong or whatever, hopefully we've told a good story to make her that way. And it's not just a Mary Sue or whatever. Or if you see a political statement in there, it's fitting to the film. It's not the agenda or the message or something like that. I truly, truly believe in making great art. And so does Jerry Seinfeld. So, much respect for him for that. So Seinfeld, the director, star, and co-writer of the new Netflix comedy Unfrosted, shared his complicated thoughts on humor for much of the conversation. When host David Remnick asked him about mixing serious themes with comedy, he couldn't hold back. People always need comedy. They need it so badly, and they don't get it, Seinfeld began. It used to be you'd go home at the end of the day. Oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family is on. You just expected there will be some funny stuff on TV you can watch tonight. But guess what? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Amen, brother. Seinfeld's comments come at a time when shows created before the woke revolution, including The Office, Friends, Seinfeld, Parks and Recreations, are streaming sensations. Yes, yeah. We found The Office probably 4 or 5 years after it ended. I don't say found it. We decided we were going to watch it because we had some time to, and it's one of our favorite shows now. You know, we watch it over and over again. My wife's absolute favorite show of all time is Friends, and we've never gotten away from that. Parks and Rec we got into a little bit, and then like, Seinfeld, neither one of us cared for it. Sorry, no offense, Jerry. It says Seinfeld share where comedy continues to thrive in our PC world. Now they're going to see stand-up comics because we are not policed by anyone. The audience polices us. We know when we're off track, and we know instantly, and we adjust to it instantly. But when you write a script and it goes into a 4 or 5 different hands committees, here's our thoughts about your jokes. Then it's the end of your comedy. Isn't that what Curb Your Enthusiasm was all about? Remnick asked of the Just Rap series created by Seinfeld co-creator Larry David. The show routinely broached challenging topics without fear of reprisal. Larry was grandfathered in. He's old enough. I don't have to observe those rules because I started before you made those rules, Seinfeld said, taking on David's voice to make a point. Seinfeld brought up a classic moment from his self-titled show to bolster his argument against PC crap. We did an episode of the series in the 90s where Kramer decides to start a business where homeless pull rickshaws because, as he says, they're outside anyway, the comedian said. Do you think I could get that episode on the air today? It was the rhetorical statement, and the podcast host treated it as such. Seinfeld returned to Curb to hammer home his point. If Larry was 35, he couldn't get away with the watermelon stuff of Palestinian chicken. He said before adding his Seinfeld writing team would pin a different scenario for Kramer in that aforementioned episode. That leaves many modern comics in a bind, he noted. They're not smart enough to figure out how do we do this now, or just not be funny, he said. Bremen asked if the woke mindset, which Seinfeld referenced but didn't name check as such, was showing signs of weakness of late. Slightly, I see a slight movement with certain comedians now. People are having fun with them stepping over the line and us all laughing about it. Again, it's the stand-ups who are able to do it. No one else gets the blame if it doesn't go down well, he said. He likely referred to rebel comedians like Tyler Fisher, Andrew Schultz, Tim Dillon, and Joe Rogan, who are thriving under the new woke order by sticking to platforms that support free speech. Let's see. Yeah, this is where I want to wrap up. It says Rogan similarly shredded the woke mentality for the death of bawdy R-rated movies, comedies. The blowback on the far left didn't take long. So here's one here. Jerry Seinfeld is on the New Yorker radio hour blaming the extreme left and PC crap for why there are no sitcoms anymore, not streamers or any systemic reasons that we just saw at play with the WGA strike. Just the wokes won't let us make comedy anymore. Absolute brain rot. Well, I got something to tell you, sweetheart. It's true. It is true. Dave Chappelle tried to do stand-up. They tried to cancel him. We had the Hodge twins come to, was it maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours from us, and they were canceled by the venue for being right-wing comedians. And they had to find a new venue at the last minute, which they did, and they did a fantastic job. I got to meet them and everything. It's really cool. And then they came to my hometown and got to go check him out there and see them again with comedian Chris Clark, who opened for him. By the way, he's awesome. Go check him out. I mentioned him a time or two before. But yeah, it is the left. The left is doing it. The right will just not come out and support you. The left will try to cancel you, will try to get you eliminated, even killed in some instances. We just saw recently with, some Twitch streamers, I want to say, the Quartering was talking about, and other folks were. So there's a lot that the left is not the most peaceful and not the most easy easygoing when they dislike you. So yeah, it is the left. It is the PC crap that you guys, subscribe to and believe in. One more article on this, and this is from Jessica Lange, who I've always appreciated Jessica Lange. Now again, not the biggest Jerry Seinfeld fan, but it doesn't mean I don't agree with the things he says. I absolutely do. Just because I'm not a fan of Seinfeld, or I'm not going to watch his stand-up, doesn't mean that I can't agree with what he says there. He's absolutely spot on. Correct. It is the left. It is the PC crap. We're going to look here. It's not just that, but it's also, as many of us are aware, it's also about that dollar bill. They're all about making the money and not making the art. Jessica Lange here says, Jessica Lange blasts corporate Hollywood. The industry now is not about the creative process. Jessica Lange is not pleased with Hollywood film industry's prioritization of profit over creative expression. I agree with that 100%. This is from MovieWeb. And again, as a filmmaker, I can tell you I've made a little over a handful of short films, all out of my own pocket, or I've worked with somebody else who did it out of their own pocket as well. We're eating, pizza or sandwiches, or I splurged one time and we had Moe's cater. It was really, really nice. And we've been in film festivals all around the world and gotten a lot of accolades for that, which is great. And that's what we did it for. We didn't put it out there. I mean, everything that I've got is on YouTube. I think we got one thing that's on a streaming platform just because we wanted to test the waters there. It was New Waters. And everything that we're working on now is probably going to be out there for free to watch. It's not about the money, it's about the art. But eventually, hopefully, we'll make something where we can, turn a profit to, at least if nothing else, fund what we want to do instead of us having to do it out of our own pockets. But that saying, we're gonna look at what Jessica Lange said here, because she's OG. She's been in the game for a while and she's a fantastic actress. So let's see what she has to say here. It says Jessica Lange is not pleased with the Hollywood film industry's prioritization of profit over creative expression. During a recent interview with Vulture, the award-winning actress, whose acclaimed career spans back over 4 decades, slammed the industry's shift towards a corporate world, she told the publication. So I'm just going to go through and kind of read what she said here, the little highlighted spots. It says, we're living in a corporate world, and it certainly has rolled over into the film industry. So much of the industry now is not about the creative process. I mean, obviously, this is not across the board, but there are many instances where I feel like the artistic impulse is overwhelmed by the corporate profit motive. One need look no further than Disney Star Wars or Disney Marvel. It was all about crank this movie out and get it done by this time. Crank this movie out, get it done by this time. Put this actor in it, put that. It wasn't about take your time and read the source material and get to know it, get passionate about it, tell a good story. None of that. None of that. Nerdrotic, I think Core Black Garrett may have been the one to put it together. I'm not sure. A great montage of all these people that made the Marvel movies, and they were told not to look at the source material. Don't read it. Don't look at it. Don't check it out. Taika Waititi said he might finally read a Thor comic after the movies come out, which I like Taika Waititi stuff, his comedy stuff. What We Do in the Shadows is fantastic. Absolutely love it. The movie and the show. But his Thor stuff, I don't know, man. But it was, Disney's all about turning that profit. Well, now they haven't been turning a profit for a while, so maybe they'll change their ways. Let's continue reading what Ms. Lange said here. It says, you look at some of the best films of the past year. What do they have in common? They're not from America. My favorite was Anatomy of a Fall. How often do we get to see a film like that where the ambiguity of things is never sewn up? I remember sitting on a film set waiting for hours for the cinematographer to get the lighting right, and it was worth it because the result was spectacular. But that's changed. Cameramen don't light anymore. They're shooting on digital. You're not going to watch dailies. It's a different ball game. I'm just happy I had the opportunity when I was starting out to actually have those experiences with filmmakers like Sidney Pollack and Costa Gavras. I don't know that name. I'm sorry, guy. I have to kind of kick myself every time I think, oh God, it's not as good as it used to be. Because it's like the Buddha said, there are 2 things certain in life. That's change and death. You can't go backward. So my specialty, now I'm a writer, director, editor, producer, and most kind of at the top of my list there. As much as I love to write and direct, and I do, I have a very, very passion for leading a team and directing and being that kind of the maestro of the orchestra, so to speak. My other kind of tier there that I really love doing is cinematography. I love being the cinematographer. I've got the camera, I've got the lenses, I've got lights, I know how to use them. Now, to kind of counter this, yes, we're using digital cameras now. One, cheaper. It's the only way I can get in the game. And two, faster and easier to use, for sure. And you don't have to worry about the dailies because you got everything pretty much right there on the spot, ready to go. But you still have to light. But to her point, that's one of my pet peeves. If you ever watch Mayhem Reacts, which is a series I have for reaction videos, I will tear apart a trailer or a film if it's not lit well. And that is a big problem, is I think since we've moved to digital sensors, which require more light than film does, people are not lighting it like they need to. They're either not lighting it as well as they lit film, or they're lighting it the same, and it requires actually more light. I mean, of course, you can bump stuff up in post for digital that you couldn't in film necessarily, I guess. But it does require the appropriate amount of lighting, and they don't have it. So a lot of films, a lot of shows are very dark, and I can't see it. So I get kind of bummed about that. And the other thing is the audio, which of course she doesn't mention right here, but that's a pet peeve of mine. So I'm going to go into that. If I can't see what you're doing, if I can't hear what you're saying, kind of tuned out of what's going on. Don't really care. I've screened a lot of films for film festivals. And those are two big beefs of mine. Like, dude, light it well and let me make sure I can hear you. If I can do those two things, I can get through your film. If I can't do those two things, there's a good chance I'm not even going to finish it. Moving on here. It says, she says, excuse me, I'm not interested in these big comic book franchise films. I think that they've sacrificed this art that we've been involved in for the sake of profit. I don't know if it's because the filmmakers think that they can't hold the attention of the audience anymore. That kind of filmmaking drives me crazy. Was that it? That's it. I like me some Jessica Lange. Back in the day, boy, I tell you what, she get it. But I like me some, she still could probably. But I like me some Jessica Lange. Her points are all valid. You have to turn a profit. There's no doubt about it. But these film studios, they're pumping in tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into a budget for a film that's cranking out the same or less when you look at it, and are not being profitable. There are films, like she was saying, that are putting, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $12 million into a film, and they're making back $100, $200, $500 million plus in profit. That's the way it should be. You should make a film for a lower budget than you hopefully are going to make in the box office. I mean, I know that seems common sense, but common sense isn't all that common, especially when you start dealing with folks in Hollywood, apparently. But yeah, so love everything she said. Loved all her points. Love me some Jessica Lange. Jerry Seinfeld was on point. And again, thanks Christian Toto for doing everything that you do and the team over there.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.